Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. Sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes life makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. We are helping you see the new you. This is Sonny Jaldon streaming from San Jose, California.
And this is Haydee Lumayno streaming live from Metro Cebu. You're watching Money and More.
Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome to Money and More with Sonny and Haydee. It's great to have you on the podcast. We have a very exciting episode for you tonight. Haydee, how are you?
We're good, we're good. Actually, maulan dito sa Cebu because of Bagyong Bising, no? But first, I'd like to say hi also to our viewers from Dubai, from Singapore, from Hong Kong, and US, Canada, and other parts of the country. So, yun, maulan dito, Sunny, and mahangin because of bagyong, nakalimutan ko yung pangalan ng bagyo. But anyway, this week din, nag-umpisa na yung vaccination for our senior citizens, no? So, yun ang isa sa mga good news na nangyari this week.
Sabi ni Direk, si Bagyo Bising daw, no, is coming there.
Bising pala, yeah.
Ingat kayo, and that's good news, no, because that's one signpost that we're on the way to recovery.
Yeah.
A lot of things has changed, but a lot of things will change a lot more, no, when the recovery is coming, no, and vaccination is one of the big signposts, no, that we're on that way. The US has been doing that na, no. About 100 million shots has already been administered, so we're on our way. So the pandemic, we're probably seeing, if not the beginning of the end, no, of the pandemic, and hopefully, knock on wood, no, it won't be the start of something different, no, something like the second or fourth wave that's like happening in Europe right now, no. So ingat lang, stay safe, everybody. Health protocols pa rin. Health protocols pa rin, no? We owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our families, and we owe it to our healthcare workers who are taking care of us. So, ingat pa tayo.
Ikaw, did you already get your second dose ba?
Wala pa. Next week pa ang second dose. But they've already opened vaccinations for everybody in California, no, 16 and up. Pwede na mag-vaccinate. No? So, medyo pila daw, sabi nila. Kasi nag-open na. But that's
ano yata, baka July or August pa.
July or August. So
after the frontliners and the senior citizens. So
I'm sure there's a lot of information going around about the vaccinations. What I'd like to say that it's probably not the brand, no. Huwag tayo matako sa brand or huwag tayo maging mapili sa brand, because if it's all the same, if the effect is the same, hindi ba? Huwag na tayo maging maarte, hintayin ko yung vaccine, Pfizer, hintayin ko yung Moderna, whatever it is, no. Whatever is available works.
No, for me, whatever is there.
Whatever is available works.
That chance, grab that opportunity.
Yes, okay. And especially for our seniors also. So, big financial news, Haydee, a little bit, no? Last week, and in line with our topic for today, yung last week kasi, pumanaw si Bernie Madoff. Kilala mo ba si Bernie Madoff? Kilala mo ba si Bernie?
Ano bang Hindi, sorry.
Yeah, okay lang, no? Kasi nasa US naman. Si Bernie Madoff kasi was the parang founder president of Madoff Securities, no, which was a big investment company in the US way back, no, for 40 years, no. And he passed away in jail because sometime in 2012, I think it was in 2012, he was imprisoned for life because yung company niya, Madoff Securities, one of the biggest investment companies now in the US during that time, was actually exposed to be a big investment scam, Ponzi scheme.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember that.
Ponzi scheme.
Siya pala yun.
Yeah. The financial crisis of 2008, if you remember the financial crisis 2008, exposed a lot of, nag-crash kasi, ano ba? Nag-crash ang financial market 2008. And Madoff Securities na-expose din to a loss of over $65 billion, no? Kasi yun yun ang assets under management. $65 billion, which was exposed to be a Ponzi scheme pala, no? So Bernie Madoff, over the past 40 years, was running a very profitable, quote-unquote, profitable investment scam, diba? Which was a loss for a lot of people, no, during the 2008 financial crisis. A lot of retirements and pensions. May nag-suicide nga, kasi nawala sa kanya isang $1.6 billion ang nawala.
Yes.
So that's parang, and for many people, since that was too long ago, no, almost 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago actually, almost 20 years ago, parang nakalimutan na nila, no, that happened, no. So, and Bernie Madoff has become a footnote, no, in history on to be careful about all of this, because legitimate yung company, Madoff Securities is a legitimate company, but it was exposed because of the financial crisis. It was exposed to be a Ponzi scheme, no. So, parang naging relevant din sa atin yan ngayon, no? Because we are in this pandemic environment, and there are plenty of let's say scams, quote unquote, no? There are plenty of scams.
Yeah,
no?
I remember.
And,
meron nga yung mga popular na personalities, no, who were into that.
We don't need to go
ago
far,
in
no?
the
Sa
Philippines.
Pilipinas, over the past 10 years, even
Yeah.
before pa, no? Meron talagang mga high profile na investment scams under the guise of legitimacy, di ba? May mga di ba, mag-aalaga ng baboy, mag-aalaga ng kalabaw or whatever it is, no? Maraming na doon, no? And then we have personalities like what's that? Aman Securities and ano ba yung
Basta yun.
legacy,
You don't have to
mga ganun,
mention
di ba?
them.
So a lot of them, no? A lot of it, no? So I mean, in the guise of legitimacy. So for tonight, no, we have a very special guest, no, who will be talking to us about how to spot and avoid these investment scams, and especially now, no, during this pandemic environment, when people are desperate, baka they will fall into that particular trap, no. So before we introduce our guests, we'd like to invite our guests tonight.
Viewers.
No? We have our viewers for tonight. No? Una, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our broadcast tonight. And if you have questions for our guests, please, you're so free to write your comments on the chat box below. All right?
Yeah. And last week pa ako excited to introduce our guest kasi he's a very popular personality in the financial industry. He is a civil engineer who decided to quit the corporate world in 2003. Diba? Ang layo, no? To pursue freelancing and entrepreneurship. He's a registered financial planner and a content creator with some 350,000 followers. Diba? Ang dami, Sonny. And then across his social and media channels. That's why he's been recognized by Money Sense magazine. Subscriber ako nito ng Money Sense magazine as among the top 12 most influential people in the personal finance in the Philippines. He is a blogger, author of several books, newspaper columnist, podcaster, live streamer, tech startup founder, entrepreneur, and a regular resource person for various television and radio programs. He also works as a corporate speaker and trainer for several social civic organizations in the country and a director of Wealth RT. That is an investment consultancy and financial planning firm he founded that aims to help Filipino families achieve their financial goals. The managing director for Wealth RT Incorporated, and he is the VP and co-founder of 99 Jobs, founder and content creator of Ready to Be Rich Content Network. We are very much privileged to have him tonight, Mr. Fitz Villafuerte.
Hello, and
hi,
kamusta kayong lahat? Ayan.
Hi, Sir Fitz.
Hello. Hello, Sonny. Hello, Haydee. And hello sa lahat ng mga nanonood sa atin ngayon at mga nakikinig. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. So, thank you for inviting me.
And maraming salamat din po sa pag-guest nyo dito sa show namin tonight.
Yeah, it's a privilege for us to have you here. Now you're finally the face behind the voice. Kasi ako fan naman. No?
Fan ng podcast.
Face behind the voice of the 80%. No? So that's yun po yung podcast ni Sir Fitz. No? Try to check it out no? Sa podcast and sa iPhones ninyo. The 80%. So I'm really a fan. No? And we have a very interesting topic tonight. No? And you are a subject matter expert on a lot of things. But in particular today, no, we'll be talking about investments. Now, how to spot investment scams. No?
Yes.
Una, aside from the introduction by Haydee, Mr. Fitz, now maybe you can tell a little bit more about yourself to our viewers.
All right. Well, basically, I am a registered financial planner. So, pag tinatanong ako, what do you do? That's usually my answer. And not a lot of people are familiar with the profession of a registered financial planner. So, the way I explain it is, kung may sakit ka, you're not feeling well, you go to a doctor for a consultation.
Okay.
Ngayon, if ang may sakit sa'yo ay yung wallet mo, ang may sakit sa'yo yung bulsa mo,
Yung bulsa.
you, you go to a registered financial planner for a financial consultation. So just like a doctor, we will give you our diagnosis, bibigyan ka namin ng prescription, and then ikaw na bahala kung saan mo bibilin yung gamot, no? In our case, we will give you a financial plan. Ito yung recommendation namin, and then it's up to you where you would want to open an investment account or where you would want to get a life insurance policy, etc. Kasi for the early years, pagdating sa financial industry, usually you get free financial advice, pero syempre at the end of it, bibentahan ka ng produkto nung financial advisor or kung sino may nakausap mo. So we are giving an alternative na you pay for the consultation, bibigyan ka namin ng list, shopping list of financial products and investment products that would be able to help you reach your financial goals. And then it's up to you kung saan mo siya bibilhin. So that's basically what I do. And that actually came from my own personal advocacy of financial education. It was something that I discovered na I like doing. It gives me self-fulfillment, but also my own contribution to the betterment of society. So you could say it has been my purpose also to help our fellow Filipino na maging mas maayos pagdating sa pag-handle nila ng pera. So yeah, that's it.
All right. So we're kindred spirits, if you will. No? Kasi mga educators po tayo lahat na financial education is something that we are all, kami ni Haydee na have been passionate about as well.
Yeah.
So that's good info. No? That's a good introduction to what financial planners actually do.
Yeah, tsaka Sir Fitz, before we go into the topic, no, yung topic natin tonight, ano yung masasabi mo with the how does the landscape of personal finance has changed because of this pandemic? Meron ka bang nakikita na maganda with what has been happening right now?
Well, ang number one na ginawa nitong pandemic na to ay na-realize ng karamihan kung gaano ka-importante ang emergency fund. A lot of my own friends, they were just laughing at me na grabe naman 6 months worth of expenses ang emergency fund. Parang sayang yung pera before the pandemic. But when the pandemic happened, the lockdown happened, sinabi nila, oo nga, it makes sense yung 6 months, no? So that's one of the things na nangyari na during this lockdown, na-realize sa mga tao how important it is to have savings, how important it is to have an emergency fund. But also, it also brought out the creativity of a lot of people kasi kailangan mo ding kumita eh. It was essential for you to earn extra income. So a lot of people, a lot of my friends, they really had to tap on their creativity and innovation para makahanap ng mga paraan to earn extra income during these times. A lot of them, of course, they turned into mga online ventures, but also some of them, they were able to also seek out mga business opportunities, and a lot of them are really amazed at what they did, no? A friend of mine told me na hindi ko inakala na kaya ko pala tong gawin. So I guess those are the things that really made those are the things that help people realize na gaano ka-importante yung money management. Kasi if you're an employee, you expect a salary every now and then, minsan hindi natin nabibigyan ng focus yung money management and personal finance natin. So that's one of those are the things that this pandemic has brought about.
Right.
And it has created also a lot of opportunities for some, no? Tama ka sa sinabi mo doon. Kasi yung iba, maraming discoveries. Even if hindi sila marunong magluto, natutong magluto. Tapos, nagiging negosyo na nila, di ba? So, yung iba, hindi marunong mag-bake. Tapos, nagiging negosyo nila. So, yung tao talaga, yung Pilipino talaga, naghahanap ng paraan kung paano mag-survive. Yun ang magandang naidulot ng pangyayaring ito.
Yes.
Sabi nga
And
nila, 'di ba, necessity is the mother of invention. So,
invention.
kailangan nila
Okay.
kumita eh. Oo.
Right.
Kailangan talaga.
And
Yun.
because of this, no, there's a lot of vulnerability din, no, because of the
Mm.
pandemic and a lot of misinformation. There are plenty of vulnerabilities, no, on how to be able to manage your money. Which brings us to the topic of tonight, no. Tonight's topic uh, about how to spot investment scams, no. I think that's very timely because it the shape and form of these scams, you know, have evolved. Number one, because of technology, you know, and the means, you know, the means and even the shape and form, you know, of the investment has changed over time. Um, One time naging baboy, you know, mag-invest sa baboy. Yeah. The invest sa baboy, quote unquote, no, mag-invest sa baboy, tapos and all of these things, no. So and then in the current environment probably has also heightened, no, this these changes. So Mr. Fitz, how do we, you know, identify if something is an investment scam?
Okay, so there are actually a lot of red flags that we can look out
Okay.
for. But I will just share 3 kasi
Okay.
feeling ko ito yung pinaka-importante. So the first thing that you need to look for is yung um, license or yung business permit or yung regulatory bodies na nag-govern dun sa company.
Okay.
So for us in the Philippines, of course, they need to have an SEC registration. But more than the SEC registration, they need to have the secondary license that is given by the SEC to solicit investments. Karamihan ng mga scam companies, they would only show an SEC registration. Pero kasi napakadali nun eh. Maski ako, kaya ko kumuha ng SEC registration. The more difficult and actually the more important document that they should have is yung SEC license, yung secondary license that is being given by the SEC to solicit investments. Ang ibig sabihin nito, na ibigay mo sa SEC kung paano ba yung iyong business model, paano ba kikita yung mga tao, and SEC gave you a blessing to actually solicit investments from the public. So, kadalasan ng mga scams, hindi nila napapakita yon. Ang pinapakita lang nila, Xerox copy ng kanilang SEC registration. So, that
Okay.
is not enough. So, that's the first thing. Unfortunately, yung pag-check ng SEC license, it's not always that easy. Pwede ding i-fake nung company, no? Yung mga SEC licenses nila. So the second thing that you can watch out for is the business model itself. So karamihan ng mga scams, if people can remember, they will always offer investment opportunities na hindi nila masyadong ine-explain. I always remember na basta kikita yan.
Yeah.
Tas igigil trip ka na. Sasabihin nila na ayaw mo bang kumita ng malaking pera para sa pamilya mo, etc. So they will always try to deflect the question pag tinanong mo na, how exactly does this work? So they will always give you a vague answer or they will give you inflated numbers na itong investment na to, you will earn 100,000 pesos every day. Tapos they will try to appeal to your greed para mag-cloud yung judgment mo, hindi mo na ma-realize na, teka, parang impossible naman yata yung binibigay nila na numbers, no? So that's the second thing. You have to understand or really look into the business. Logical ba yung business? Realistic ba yung ino-offer nila, etc. And the last thing that they can look out for is if you're a legitimate investment company, of course, you would want the more people to know about it, which means hindi ka takot na mag-guest sa traditional media. So one thing that you can easily do is to just Google the name of the company and see if they are mentioned sa newspaper, if they were able to do some TV guesting, or meron silang press release sa newspapers, etc. So they have presence in traditional media. Kasi kung meron kang tinatago, matatakot ka na ma-feature di ba? So if a company has mentions in traditional media, then mas komportable ka na mag-invest on because you know that this company is not hiding anything. They are willing to come out into the open and promote their business. So yun lang yung tatlo ninyong tingnan. Of course, there are other red flags that we can probably discuss later, but para mas madaling matandaan and mas madaling maalala ninyo. So look at the licenses. They should have proper permits, particularly yung secondary license from the SEC to solicit investments. Number 2, look at the business. Is it realistic? Yung pinapromise ba nila sa yung return, is that believable? And then number 3, meron silang mention sa traditional media. Hindi pwedeng puro social media accounts lang. Nakita mo yung Facebook page nila, million yung followers. That doesn't mean that they're already a legitimate business. Tingnan mo, meron ba silang guesting sa mga newspaper, TV, radio, etc. So those are the 3 things na pwede mong initially i-check para malaman kung scam ba ang isang company or not.
Yeah.
Because I
remember.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Haydee.
Yeah, I remember, Sonny, before kasi may nag-offer sa akin nung, yung previous na mga scams na ano natin. Tinatanong ko yung parang agent na nag-offer kung ano yung historical performance ng investment nila. Nung wala na siyang maisagot, so sabi ko na hindi na legit to. Kasi walang masabi eh. And they were saying na 5 years na daw silang nag-ooperate. But when I asked them about the historical performance ng investments nila, wala namang naibigay. So maybe that's also one thing that you could check, di ba? Yes, Sonny, you were saying something.
Yeah, ang nangyayari kasi is that there's always this guise of legitimacy kasi, di ba? For many of these many of these companies, may office sila, no? Many of them may physically may office. I remember kasi during the early 90s, yung what was that firm ng Balajay.
Yeah.
No. There were physical offices around the country, as in physical offices. So that's a guise of legitimacy, no? Kasi yun. And then very recently, not very recently, pero recently lang din yung mga agri ventures, no? Yung baboy investments. May mga physical offices din.
Balik.
Hindi kasi
balikan talaga yan yung baboy, Sir Fitz.
No, because because
the problem kasi sa crowdfunding investments, no, I would say
like that.
Well, investment scams in general, they would usually get something na legitimate and then yun yung front nila. So like say, for example, crowdfunding para sa isang agribusiness. So it makes sense, no? Okay. But the question is, you should learn to look beyond yung pinipresent sa'yo. Meaning, do your own research. Meron akong friend, merong ino-offer sa kanya na goat farm, no? So, everything looks good on paper, pero sabi ko, bakit hindi mo i-ocular yung goat farm na sinasabi? So, meron akong friend, pumunta siya sa Laguna kasi andun daw yung goat farm. Pero pagpunta niya, wala palang goat farm. Ano lang, gubat yung address. So, alam mo yon. So, alam mo na kagad na scam. They are able to present to you a realistic business, but we should always do our due diligence. So, tingnan natin kung totoo ba. And that was one of the reasons why kumita talaga yung mga agri crowdfunding investment scams eh. Kasi not a lot of people did the due diligence to check if the farm itself is existing and operating. And sometimes they would promise you unrealistic returns. Meron akong kakilala na parang coffee farm naman. Tapos sinabi na they would earn 2% every week. So that's around 8% a month. And if you ask a coffee farmer, sasabihin nila, parang hindi naman tama yun, no? Hindi ganun kalaki yung kinikita ko sa coffee farm ko. So that's already questionable. So again, we have to look at the numbers and check if it is realistic. So that's something that a lot of people forget kasi na-excite na sila doon sa pinapromise eh. Pag na-excite na sila, nako, tapos meron pa silang kaibigan na kumita na, Nako, parang nafo-FOMO, yung nafi-fear of missing out. Ay, yung kaibigan ko kumikita na, dapat ako rin. Naglalagay na kagad sila without doing their due diligence. But of course, ang mga investment scams, sa umpisa, you will earn kasi they are trying to convince you to put in more money. Once na nakapaglagay ka na ng malaking pera, nakapag-invite ka na ng mga kaibigan mo na maglagay din ng pera, dyan bigla tatakbo. Tapos, wala na. Hindi mo na mahahabol yung pera mo. So, just because someone you know is earning money, that doesn't mean na legit na siya kagad. It can still be a scam, but the company is just trying to grow yung money na itatakbo nila. Kaya siyempre sa umpisa, papakitain ka muna. So it's always good to check the business itself kung realistic ba and plausible and possible yung pinapromise nila na returns. So yeah.
So there is a psychological prompt, no, from potential investors kung bakit mag-invest in the first place, no. When you are approached, no, ito yung parang may mga triggers kasi, no. May mga triggers kasi that will entice people to put money into this particular investment, no. Returns, number one. Appeals to greed, sabihin na natin, appeals to greed, and this is magnified, no, during crisis, during times like this, no. And
Yes.
very interestingly, the technology of how this operates now has changed. And when we come back after this commercial break, we'll be talking about how the changes in technology has also, let's say, changed the way that these scams have operated. All right. So stay tuned. We'll be back. Hello and welcome back to the new channel, Money and More with Sonny and Haydee. We're coming to the almost nasa first anniversary of the new channel, and we have so many shows now for you to watch and enjoy. Watch all these shows and live or replays: U-Turn, TNC The Talk, Awesome Day, The Home Buyer, The Puppet Stories, Mondays at 5:30 p.m., The Big Picture with Lloyd Luna, Mondays to Fridays, 7:15 p.m., The Millennial Voice, Mondays at 8:30, Foreign Affairs, katatapos lang ng Foreign Affairs, Tuesdays at 10:30, HR Hotline, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 noon, Moving on Business, Well Home, Tuesdays at 5:30, Mental Shift, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7:30 p.m. in the US, Wednesdays and Fridays in the Philippines, and Cyber Next now. So happy anniversary upcoming anniversary to the new channel.
Yeah, excited na ako sa first anniversary celebration natin, Sonny.
Right.
Diba? So, malapit na in May. And also, pa-shoutout din ako, Sonny, for our viewers tonight.
Sure.
We are being joined by Dr. Joy Damo. Hi, Doc! And
Hello.
Keisha is also with us. And Art Sanchez is also watching with us.
Yeah.
So, we'd like to call back Mr. Fitz.
Hello, Sir Fitz.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show. We're continuing our discussion on how to spot investment scams. No, so the phase and form of an investment scam has changed over the years. No, depending on kung ano yung quote unquote uso, kung ano yung uso. No, so naging uso yung I remember kasi in the early 2000s yata because uso pa yung alam mo yung sa cellphones. Dati load card na ba? Load card ang ginagamit natin. So there was this company that approached me, a rep of the company approached me na dyan doon sila nag-invest. The production of cell cards. Kasi yun ang necessity yun eh. Parang iniisip natin during that time, yung scratch off na to load your card, no? Na yun ang investment nila. That's where they put their money, that's where your money will put. At hindi mawawala yung necessity na yun, no? So it seemed like it was a good investment during that time at 1% per month. At 1% per month. But if you think about it, that's a 12% return in a year, which during that time, parang no. Diba? So you can become skeptical. The technology has changed. And in this day and age, na nakikita natin a lot of, plenty of, let's say, cryptocurrency investments, no? Now we'll be here to we are here to invest in this technology like Ethereum or Bitcoin and all that. No? So it has changed somehow, and maybe you can talk to us a little bit about that, no? Because there are legitimate Bitcoin cryptocurrency investments.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, usually ang mga investment scams, they use a legitimate product as front.
Okay.
So before yung Swiss franc scam, etc. So ang mga investment scams, they try to, diba? They try to use something that a lot of people know already, katulad ng cellphone load cards or something na pinag-uusapan sa news, and then they use that product as usually ito yung pinag-iinvesta natin. But of course, the business behind it is just a Ponzi scheme. Again, just a few years ago, yung M-Goldex, di ba? Ito naman sa gold ka nag-i-invest. But if you study yung business model niya, it's just a Ponzi scheme. And in recent years, of course, people are also using yung cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum as the front to create a pyramid or a Ponzi scheme. So regardless of what is the product, it's really important to study the business model. Kung ano ba yung structure at paano ko kikita. So pagdating sa cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin, siyempre a lot of people don't understand what it is, pero lagi nilang naririnig sa news. So again, they will try to appeal do sa greed mo, yung fear of missing out. So pag ganun yung nangyari, feeling mo, sayang yung pera, hindi ako kumikita, pero yung mga kaibigan ko kumikita na siguro. So they invest. So again, one of the things that I always tell people, aral muna bago invest, di ba? Do not put your money in something that you do not understand. So even if there are legit investment opportunities pagdating sa cryptocurrencies, etc., if you do not understand how that works, then it's better to first invest in knowledge. Pag-aralan mo muna bago ka maglagay ng pera. Maski sa mga legit na mga investments like the stock market, di ba? Maraming kumikita ng pera sa stock market, pero marami ring nalulugi. Bakit? Kasi they put money in the stock market because uso, naririnig nila, pero they do not understand that. So, they are just driven by the fear of missing out. So ang stock market, legit investment yan, pero people are still losing money from it because they do not fully understand what they are putting their money in. So pagdating sa cryptocurrencies, of course, that is a legitimate asset. However, if you do not understand how Bitcoin works, what is Bitcoin, etc. So even if you put money in a legitimate company, you will still risk losing money. And a lot of investment scams are using that psychology of people na fear of missing out para sasabihin sa'yo na hindi mo kailangan maintindihan to, kami na bahala sa'yo, di ba? So, ikaw naman, okay, sige, maglagay ako dito, tapos kikita ako dyan. One aspect pagdating sa cryptocurrencies is yung mining. Ibig sabihin, yung gagawa ka ng mining rig mo para maka-create ka ng Bitcoin. So, sasabihin nila na mahirap kasi mag-mine. So, if you invest with us, gagamitin natin yung pera natin para maka-create ng isang mining rig. Tapos, pag naka-mine tayo ng Bitcoin, hati-hati tayo lahat dito, etc. So, a lot of people who do not understand how Bitcoin mining works will believe kung ano yung sinasabi ng tao. But again, you try to do research. Kailangan mong kumuha ng information na third party. Hindi galing dun sa nagre-recruit sa'yo. And if you do that, you will discover na yung mga current na mining operations sa cryptocurrencies, sobrang laki. As in isang warehouse na yung mga servers nila, no? So, you can now ask yourself, magbibigay ako ng ganito kalaki tapos they guarantee me na ganito kalaki yung return ko. That is already questionable kasi if you do a simple search on YouTube ng mga Bitcoin mining companies, you will see that a lot of them are saying na we've been operating for 8 months but we haven't really mined enough coins yet just to cover the operations. Alam mo yun? So, you see the reality and dun ka ma-educate. So, I guess the bottom line is do not invest on something that you do not understand. If an investment is being offered to you, do your own research. Do not just accept what the recruiter is telling you. So maghanap ka ng third-party information about the company and opinion about the business model itself, no? So that's my advice.
Yeah, because I remember. Go ahead, Heidi.
Yeah, you made mention kasi kanina that for a person to know the legitimacy of the company or the investment companies, that they need to check with SEC, ano yung business model, and kung meron ba silang secondary license. Now, if and when they will be able to find out na hindi siya legit, Sir Fitz, no? What does the SEC do to protect our people from these scams?
Okay, so sa sobrang dami ng scam, of course, hindi rin talaga mamomonitor ng SEC or the government. So, I guess it is your civic duty to report it. So, you can first report it sa SEC. Merong mga hotline ng SEC and DTI. And then, hopefully, that will prompt an independent investigation sa kanila to see kung talagang legit ba yung business or not. But in your case also, you can also tell your friends na I am doing a bit of research dito and I think this is a scam. If you know someone who is investing here, it might be a good idea to give them a warning to be careful, etc. But of course, i-report natin siya sa hotline ng SEC and DTI. And yung SEC naman, they regularly come out with warnings They can follow, I guess, the social media accounts of SEC. Makikita nila doon, meron silang mga memo and bulletin boards na be careful, we have investigated this company, etc. So, that's also a good way to check. May mga kakilala ako na nagtatanong sa akin kung legit ba tong isang company na to. Tapos sabi ko sa kanya na, alam mo ba parang 2 months ago, naglabas na ang SEC ng warning about that. So, I guess, that's the thing that I would want to eventually see pagdating sa mga information drive ng mga financial institutions natin or mga government institutions natin. Sana mas magalingan nila yung pag-spread ng information kasi itong mga investment scams, I guess they really studied their target victims So they really have great information campaigns, may mga high-tech na mga video sila. well-trained yung mga recruiters sila kung ano sasabihin, etc.
True.
So yeah, so in my part, of course, I am trying to do my share of informing the public, but in our own experience then, kung ikaw mismo may na-encounter ka na scam, ikaw mismo you are doubtful about a certain company, it would help to voice out your concern and then see if you can crowdsource information from your own social network so that mas malakas yung boses natin to warn our friends and other people against investing in investment scams.
Right.
It's a
Following
very good advice, Sir
the
Fitz.
yung maxim natin, ano ba? If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Ano ba?
That's right.
If,
Actually, I have a little problem with that, no? Kasi a
okay.
lot of people advise that if it's too good to be true, then it probably is. However, very vague yung idea. How do
Okay.
you know if it's too good to be true? So, ang sinasabi ko lagi, it's important to compare something against yung mga alam natin na mga established na investments. So for example, the stock market is a legitimate investment. No one will contest the legitimacy of the stock market. And
Right.
if we see the historical performance of the Philippine stock market in particular, ang average niya for the past 15-20 years is around 12% per annum.
Right.
So if an investment is giving you 20% per month, alam mo na kagad na that's too good to be true. So I tell people na when someone says that if it's too good to be true, then it's probably a scam, ibig sabihin niya na kung mas malaki ang kikitain mo sa kanya versus sa mga more popular and legitimate investments, then it's a sign na red flag yan. And to be more specific about it, if it's giving you more than 12% a year, then try to research more. Hindi automatic scam siya. Ang sinasabi ko lang ay pag-aralan mo. So, of course, if an investment is trying to give you 3% a day, may nakita ko 3% a day. Sabi ko,
my God, ang
wow.
laki nun.
Oo, di ba? So, yun, siguro hindi mo na kailangan i-research yun. Kasi if you compare that, that's 900% a year. So, bakit yung mga bilyonaryo, dapat doon nila
Hindi
nag-invest?
nag-invest.
So, we have to be rational and logical about these things. So, yeah, if something is giving you more than 12% a year, then it solicits more investigation on your part to see how legitimate that investment is.
Yeah, so vigilance is the name of the game. Do your own research as well. Right, we'll have
Yes.
more conversations with Mr. Fitz when we come back from this break. Stay tuned.
Yeah, more shows on TNC channel. Healthline, Couple Goals, Win Within, Market Leader, ULO, Negosyo at Home, Tech Q, TNC Marketplace, Danny Art Show, After Shift, Women at Work, COVID Stories, The Family Business, Usapang Beauty, The Fourth Project, our TNC specials, One Day, TNC Arena, TNC PressCon, and TNC Town Hall, hosted by co-founders Lloyd Luna and Apple Manansala. And a lot of upcoming shows. Follow us on TNC, on Facebook and YouTube. Allow your passion to inspire you, and together, let us see the new you. And of course, don't forget our show, Money and More, every Tuesday, 5:30 a.m. US time and 8:30 p.m. Philippine time.
Right.
Yes.
Welcome back, everybody, and welcome our guest, Mr. Fitz Villafuerte.
Yeah, Angelica Salazar pala is saying, thank you, Money and More, and Sir Fitz. Sobrang ganda ng topic. Yon.
Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Now, if you like our content, then we can give you more quality content in the future. Right? We are talking also to Mr. Fitz Villafuerte, a very prolific content creator on Facebook and social media. Sir Fitz, it's been a very good conversation that we're having right now. No? What can we expect from you? No? What are your current and future projects? What can we expect from Mr. Fitz?
All right. So I've been busy building my content online, and currently I am more focused on my podcast. No, so if people would like to check out the content that I create, they can go to readytoberich.com. So that is my portal. Meron akong Facebook page. I am quite active on TikTok. A lot of my friends are surprised na may TikTok account ako.
I will try that.
Meron.
All right.
I currently I already have around 70,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow.
So hindi ako nagsasayaw doon. I give personal finance content.
But it's TikTok. Kailangan sumayaw.
Siguro pag umabot ako ng ng 100,000 followers, magsasayaw tayo. But
abangan ko yan.
Mga viewers natin, ha. Don't forget to subscribe to Mr. Fitz TikTok para sumayaw siya.
Yes, oo. So they can go to readytoberich.com to know the links to all my social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter. If they also want to contact me, meron din akong contact form sa aking portal. And ang special sa akin recently talaga is yung podcast ko. It was my pandemic passion project, I would say. Kinreate ko siya last year, and because of the lockdown, I really had a lot of time na i-produce yung mga episodes ko. When I started my podcast, I was just thinking of producing mga 1 episode per month. But eventually, I was inspired to do it every week. So the podcast's title is The 80%. So they can check out yung official website ng podcast mismo, which is the80percentpodcast.com. And if they are curious kung bakit 80% or the 80% yung title niya, yeah, it comes from a saying ni Dave Ramsey na personal finance is 80% behavior and 20% head knowledge, which I wholeheartedly agree. Alam natin lahat na kailangan natin mag-save. Alam natin lahat na kailangan natin mag-invest. Alam natin lahat na dapat ay huwag tayong maglagay ng pera sa mga scams. Pero bakit may mga nabibiktima pa rin? Bakit may mga taong hindi makapag-save? May mga taong ayaw mag-invest or walang investment? May mga taong nabibiktima pa rin ng scams. The reason for that is we only know the 20%. Yung behavioral and psychology ng money, which is the 80%, yun yung kulang tayo. So that's what I try to focus on sa podcast ko. I talk about the psychology of money. I talk about yung changing our financial habits. How do we learn good money habits? How do we avoid yung fear of missing out or fear of too many options? May mga ganyan tayo. So I delve into the psychology and mindset of personal finance. At yan ang pinag-uusapan natin sa The 80% Podcast, which is of course available sa mga popular podcasting app. Specifically, ang very aggressive ngayon is Spotify, no? So regardless if you're on a free or premium account, you can listen to podcasts on Spotify, and you can check out, you can just search for The 80% doon, And I'm looking forward to having you as one of my listeners doon. So again, readytoberiich.com as my portal and the 80% podcast for my podcast.
Yeah.
Right. And if
Ang
you
daming
are
magagandang topic dun sa podcast mo. Yung gusto kong hindi ko pa na dinig yung isang episode or isang ano bang sabi doon? Yung topic na make your
Episode.
someday come. Episode parang
Yes.
gano'n. Kaya
Oo.
na-intriga ako doon. So, I will
Ah.
listen that tonight. Make
And
your
if you-
someday come.
And to our viewers, if you're interested to know more on how to spot and avoid investment scams, meron pong podcast si Fitz about it specifically, So you can listen to
Yeah.
that also. Highly recommended po ang the 80%. Actually, follower po ako niyan since the start, a little bit about last year, no? So, very interesting ang mga topics dun. No? So congratulations, Mr. Fitz, and more power to you. And to our viewers, mag-ingat po tayo sa where we put our money, no? Where we put our money. Yun lang. Maganda po yung mga sinasabi ni Sir Fitz. Find out if it's a legitimate company, secondary license, do they give extraordinary returns? Let's do our due diligence, as you said, no? Behavioral, 80%, no? Behavioral ang motivations natin, no? And during this time, no, during pandemic or during this crisis, there are a lot of vulnerabilities. So we have to do our due diligence. We have to be more, let's say, more deliberate, no, sa mga funds, the way that we handle our money. So
in short, Sonny, they also have to do their share.
Yes.
Hindi yung maniniwala lang sa, they have to do their own research also. So kasi mahirap kumita ng pera sa panahon nito. So they really have. Yes.
So a lot of information, especially now during lockdown, a lot of information is online. A lot of things are going on online. Plenty of posts, no. Be more discriminating. Yun na lang yung word ko. Be more discriminating na lang, no? Because of all of this, because of all of this information that's going on, be more discriminating on where you put your money. All right. So
yes, before we go, we'd like to ask Sir Fitz muna if he has some words for our viewers.
Yeah, so if there's a final advice that I would like to tell our viewers is to study first before you put money on something. So kung isa lang yung maaalala nyo dito sa episode na to, ito ay yung aral muna bago invest. Regardless if it's legitimate investment or not, if we fully understand where we are putting our money in, then we will be able to avoid losing yung money natin sa mga investment scams, and we will be fully aware of the risk that we have to face if we are putting money in an investment. So very important to invest first in knowledge, and that will really help you grow your money in the future. So thank you very much for listening. I hope marami kayong natutunan sa mga na-share ko this evening.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Fitz. Ingat po kayo. Stay safe, and we hope for future collaborations with you.
Yes, thank you also for inviting me. Nag-enjoy ako dito, and looking forward to doing this again. So hopefully makabalik ako dito.
Madami tayong pag-uusapan.
Definitely,
there will be another time. Thank you again, Fitz. I'll see you backstage later.
We'll see you backstage later.
Yes.
All right. Ingat. All right. Thank you very much to our viewers for tonight. No? So many things we talked about. No? Bottom line is that you have to understand where you put your money. All right. We want to make it grow legitimately. If you're hesitant, that's fine. No? Kung hesitant kayo, be more discriminating about about your investments. I mean, Haydee, you've only started investing very recently, ba? After all this time, that's fine, no? Because we have to be more careful of where we put our money.
Well, it's understandable naman, Sonny, that people are really looking into something that can make their money grow. But as you were saying, we really have to do our share of also making some research. Hindi yung naniniwala lang tayo kasi sabi nga ni Sir Fitz, no, yung fear of missing out, minsan peer pressure siya na ay si ano yung friend ko nag-invest na kumita na dapat ako ganun din sana, no. But hindi lang tayo magmamamadali, no? So, ang hirap kitain ng pera tapos sa isang iglap nawawala just because we didn't do our share. So, if you feel that okay siya after doing some research, then fine, no? So, yun ang pinaka-importante doon.
I think it's also very important for us to ask, no? Have a consultation with your financial advisor, have a consultation with your financial planner. No, people who know more than you. No, wag po tayong mahiya. Wag po tayong maghiya magtanong. After all, it is our money. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. It was very informative, Haydee, and we'll see you soon in our next in the next episode.
Right? Yeah, in our next episode, Sonny, we will be starting our chat group. So baka gusto nilang meron silang mga tanong about investments, we will be communicating with them through that, no? So we will be making that chat group para meron silang avenue to ask questions or to refer some matters to us for free. So abangan nyo yan. And if you also have some topics that you would want us to discuss in our future episodes, feel free to write in the comment section, and when you are able to see or view the replay of this. Once again, thank you very much for being with us tonight. Such a very informative topic with Sir Fitz Villafuerte.
We'll see you soon, everybody. And always remember that financial freedom
is in your hands.
Good night.